Hey everyone, I'm Kim, the mom boss behind Emery and Kay, and today I have a really fun tutorial that's kind of a new take on the brushstroke tumblers that at least I've been seeing kind of all over my Facebook and my TikTok feed. I'll go ahead and put a picture of it on the screen now for you to see. So I wanted to create one of these brushstroke tumblers for a while. I've seen them all over my Facebook, all over my TikTok. I do have some acrylic paint, but I have a lot of darker colors, and I didn't want to have to go out and buy a bunch of new acrylic paint. So I thought, what is something that I have a lot of colors in? Alcohol ink. So I thought I could probably paint with those, right? They're pretty versatile. So I started playing around, and this technique worked so good. It turned out really cute. It's super simple to do. Trust me, if I can do it, so can you. I will list and link everything I use in the description box below. I will also have a few discount codes for you as well if you want to save on some of the goods. I think that's that. Let's get to it.
As always, we're going to start with a fully prepped and painted tumbler. The tumbler I'm using today is a 16-ounce Junior from Steel Magnolia, and this one actually already came prepped. So Steel Magnolia sells cups that are prepped. They're painted, so literally all you have to do is pull it out of the box and you're good to go, which is such a luxury if you hate sanding and spray painting like me. All the inks I'm using are from Marabou, so I listed the colors on the screen so you can see, because the bottles I kind of go a little bit too fast. So the process for this tumbler really is super simple. So I'm using just a cheap little plastic plate from Walmart. They're like 50 cents. You can use whatever you want to put your alcohol ink on. And the paintbrush I liked the look of the best is kind of like a rounded edge or tip, I guess you could say, not kind of the flat ones. I think that the more rounded paintbrush just makes the strokes kind of fade out a little bit better at the end. And then I have a little bowl of alcohol, just regular old rubbing alcohol, to kind of rinse off my paintbrush. I did end up doing another one of these, and you really don't need to rinse your brush off in between colors, because we did start with the lightest and then the darkest, and then we kind of layer them up after we get kind of our colors laid out anyways, so the alcohol not really necessary. But as you can see, I'm just putting some little pools of alcohol ink onto my plate, and I'm just kind of dipping my brush into it. And like I said, I did start with the lightest color and just working my way through the darkest, and I'm kind of going light at first. I just want to get a layout. I want to make sure that I don't have too many light colors, too many dark colors next to each other. I just kind of want to see where I want each color to be. So I'm going to continue to work through my alcohol inks. This one is the Amethyst. This is so pretty. And then I'm going to finish with a dark denim. And I chose to leave a white center. You definitely could kind of have your strokes come together more or be a little bit further apart. It's totally up to you and whatever look that you're kind of going for. But whatever you choose to do, don't overthink it. Just grab your colors, let your mind kind of be free and relax. This cup was really fun to do with just some music on in the background. I love creating tumblers where I can almost just kind of like turn my brain off and just work through them. Truly a work of art. And so now I'm going to go back in with some of the lighter colors, and I'm going to kind of build up a little bit of texture into each of my strokes. I might layer some together. Don't be afraid to put like one of your lighter colors on your darker or vice versa. Really, like I said, just be free, let your brain do what it wants to do until you get a look that you're going for. One thing I will say, make sure that if you end up using alcohol to kind of clean your brush in between colors, make sure that you wipe off any extra alcohol before you go onto your cup, because if not, you'll get like that weird smudgy look, which ask me how I know. So anyway, I'm going to continue to kind of go through, build up a little bit of texture. If I don't like a harsh line between the two like strokes, I'll use a little bit of a lighter color to kind of go over those, just to make it a little bit softer, just making them flow a little bit more. So I'm going to continue to do this until I have all the little white spaces filled in. And as far as the bottom, I didn't do anything on the bottom. I just left it white because that's what I wanted to do. But you could definitely go on the bottom with a little bit of alcohol ink if you wanted to, or just leave it white. It's totally up to you. Once we have our brush strokes the way we like them, we're going to go ahead and do a coat of epoxy. I don't seal it, I just go in with a nice thin coat of epoxy, and then once that's cured, we're going to move on to our decal. I chose this one, I found it on Etsy. It says Make Heaven Crowded. I of course will link the shop down below. And I did a 0.05 offset for my decal. I do offsets on pretty much all of my decals because I like the way that it looks and it makes them stand out a little bit more. So both of these finals are from Tech Wrap. I also will link those down below. The top one is just kind of a light purple, and then the bottom is a really pretty holographic that I think just went with kind of the softness of the cup. So I'm going to go ahead and layer my decal. If you've watched some of my other videos, you know that I layer kind of weird, but this decal was so small and delicate that I really couldn't take it apart to layer it word by word, so I just had to rally and layer the entire thing together, which was totally fine. Once I layer this, I'm going to go ahead and squish it down with my little vinyl squeegee there, and with holographic vinyl, if I'm layering it kind of directly like this instead of in pieces, I always just like to check and make sure that it's stuck to my transfer tape, because sometimes that holographic vinyl doesn't like to layer super easy. It won't come off the backing when I try to transfer it onto my cup. So now I'm going to go ahead and place this on my cup. I'm trying to figure out here if I want to do it straight or kind of at an angle. I end up with straight. I will put the measurements that I used for my decal in the description box. I always forget to write that down so that I can say it when I'm doing my voiceover. So I'm sorry about that, but I end up deciding to go straight, and then I'm going to measure from the bottom of the C on the offset and the bottom of the D on the offset. And you want to measure from the offset, not the top text, because of course your offset, is straight and your top text could be just a little bit off. Just make sure that you are double checking your measurements, because there's nothing worse than getting your decal onto your cup and then realizing that it's crooked and having to peel it off, recut it, and reapply it. I don't know about you guys, but that is like one of the most frustrating things in the world when it comes to making cups, either a crooked decal or like a fly in your final coat of epoxy that otherwise would have been perfect. So once I've double checked my measurements, my decal is nice and straight. I'm going to use the hinge method, I think is what it's called, to apply my decal. I'm just going to carefully remove the backing, and I'm going to push my decal in the middle and then out onto each side, making sure that I push it onto the cup really well. Sometimes holographic vinyl can be a little bit finicky, so just slowly pull back your transfer tape. Just make sure that you don't pull any little sections of your decal up, and then we'll be ready to move on to another coat of epoxy. I want to add 2 more coats of epoxy to this cup for it to be finished. The next coat of epoxy I do directly over my decal. I'm going to add a little bit of this mica powder. It's called Grape Ice. It's from the Glitter Guy. It's a white mica powder with a purple shimmer. It is absolutely stunning, and it goes perfectly with the color scheme of my tumbler. So as you saw, I just use a very little bit. A little bit goes a long way. Mix it into your epoxy and apply it onto your cup. Don't try to cheat and put your mica in your first coat of epoxy over your alcohol inks, because it will settle into the ink and make like weird little cells. Trust me, I know, because I did it and had to redo my entire cup. But anyways, I'm going to put this epoxy on. I'm going to let it cure for about 4 to 6 hours, and then I will put one more coat of epoxy on and my cup will be finished. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, I would love if you gave my video a thumbs up. If you want to see more tutorials in the future, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I do plan to upload once a week. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy crafting.